Hi guys, I had a couple of you guys that had some of the same questions, so I figured I would make a help video for you. The first question on the Thursday doc that a lot of people asked was how to get the exponent to look little as shown here. So I'll show you those steps so that you can kind of edit your doc and then resubmit. So it says to get a little 4, you type 2 4. So I'll go ahead and delete that and I'll just type 2 4 and I'll space it correctly. So then I highlight the 4. Then it says go to the Format tab up top. So I'm going to click on this Format tab. It says go to Text, which is what I'm hovering over right now, and then go to Superscript, which you can see has that tiny little 2 that's up top, and you click it. And when you do so, it changes it to an exponent, the way we would write it in our notebooks. So that was the first question that I had a lot of you guys ask, and I thought it was a very good question. The next one was about this section right here where it says finish the statement below by typing your answer. And it says use your notebook. So it says negative numbers can be raised to exponents also. So these numbers right here is where I should be typing the words that match up with what's down here. So the first one says a blank exponent will give a blank answer. So if I look at the example, I can kind of infer what it's talking about, especially if I'm looking at my notes. So an even exponent, because this exponent right here is a 2, which is an even number. So in number 1, I would type even. An even exponent will give you if I'm looking at the 4 here, it's positive. It'll give me a positive answer. So then if I move to the next one, it says a blank exponent will give me a blank answer. So if I look at the exponent in this given example, it's a 3. A 3 is an odd number. So I would say an odd exponent will give me a blank kind of an answer. So if I look at the answer there, it's -8. So an odd exponent gives me a negative answer. So the last one says any number raised to the power of blank equals the base of the number. So any number raised to the power of 1 is going to give me a base number. So for example, 5 to the first power or to the power of 1 is going to be 5, which is just the base. The sixth one says any base raised to the exponent of blank equals 1. Well, anything raised to the 0 power is going to equal 1. So I hope that clears up this section. But always look at the examples that are provided at the end. And again, also looking in that notebook to help you fill in what those blanks say. So I'm going to scroll down. And I'll do one from each section just in case you weren't quite sure what it was looking for. So number 7 through 10 says type the following in expanded form and find the product. So I would type it out. I've got -8 to the third power, which is -8 times -8 times -8. And then it also said that it needs the product that's there. So I know if I'm thinking in my head, 8 times 8 is going to be 64. And of course, I could work that on my paper just to make it a little bit easier. And then 64 times 8 is 512. I also know that this is an odd exponent, so my answer is going to be -512. So I went ahead and expanded it and I provided the product, which is the final answer. And you would follow that for numbers 8, 9, and 10. The next one says go from expanded form and I want to make it into exponential form. So this one has -2. And if I count them, it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So it's to the 7th power. So I type a 7, I highlight it, I go to Format, text, and superscript. The same thing applies to 12, 13, and 14. A variable like f or a smiley face can be the base. It doesn't just have to be a number. The next section is a little bit challenging, but it says, given the products, what could be the exponential form? So if I have 36 and I wanted to figure out what could be the exponent, well, what two numbers that have to be the same number can be multiplied together to give me 36? So 6. And I know that 6 times 6 is 36. So this is 6 squared. So I'm going to type a 2. And I'm going to highlight it because I need it to be an exponent. So I go Format, Text, and Superscript. And you can have different ones from here, but just trying to think what's going to end up giving me 125, 1,000, or 8. It could be something that's squared to the second power. It could be something that's cubed to the third power. Whatever you can kind of come up with. And I will say that this one, if you look in your notes, you could easily find it. So the next section was with the Bitmoji, and you were to be writing these in different forms. So I want to actually look at this third one here, and I have a couple things I need to fill in. So over here it says base. Well, if I look at exponential form, the Bitmoji, which we could call a variable, is the base. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it right here where I have the base. Well, this base is to the power of 3. The third power is sometimes called cubed. So where I would have the exponent, I would type a 3. And the last one says, can you put this in expanded form? So if I do that, I need to copy it, Control C, and I click over here, and I could click Control V 1, 2, 3 times, because this would be the expanded form. This could be just like a number. This could be 2 to the third power, where the base is 2, and the expanded form would be 2 times 2 times 2. But in this case, the variable is just the Bitmoji picture. So, scrolling on down, this next section, if you're following the rules that were given in your notes, it shouldn't be any issues. Anything to the 0 power equals 1. Anything to the first power, like in number 20, is the base. And the base here is a 4. So make sure you're using those notes to your advantage because they can be very helpful. This last section, or moving towards the last section, is where we need to solve for exponents. So if I followed order of operations for number 26, I need to look at 2 squared first. And 2 squared is 2 times 2. So I really have 15 minus 4, which is going to equal 11. I'll do one more of those just in case there was any confusion. 4 to the third power is really 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So I'll type 64, and then I can copy this little division symbol, and I'm going to change it to be blue just to make it nice and pretty. And it would be 64, and I keep writing everything else the same. So 64 divided by 8, which is going to equal 8. And I'm going to change that formatting just to keep it looking the same. Okay. So these are fairly simple order of operations problems. Most of yours that submitted or you submitted part of it, they looked pretty good. Just make sure you're double checking your answers. So scrolling on down, that is the last portion. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me. Make sure you're being good for Miss Harris.